Hello there, I'm Carl Scott and I'm the Global Business Development Director for Adstream. I'm pleased to say that I've got a special guest here with me today for a little fireside chat. His name is James Thomas and he's the Global Vice President of Creative Technology. So James, great to have you. Thank you for joining us. I'd love to ask you a few questions about the big project that we've been collectively going down together. But first and foremost, could you just tell us a little bit about your role at Dentsu, please?
So yeah, my role, as you said, I head up creative technology globally for Dentsu. I'm leading one of our main go-to-market offerings called Content Symphony. And Content Symphony is a global production solution, integrating our production capabilities that we have at Dentsu, our media capabilities and CXM capabilities, all into a wraparound solution for our clients that are all, struggling with the content at scale challenge that is in the industry today.
Right. I know, we've been working together for a number of months now, and I'd like to ask.
I think.
Years. I'd love to ask. What was your decision making in getting to where you've got to now? So, there are many. We're focusing in and around the DAM positioning at the moment here. From a DAM perspective, how did you get to where you got to? So, there are lots of enterprise DAMs out there that do good things. Would never actually sort of put them into the cupboard by far, but they're great ways of being able to collect content along a journey. But then what happens after? So I just want to understand from your point of view, from Dentsu's point of view, and how you got to the decision that you got to for Content Symphony.
Sure. Well, as you said, there's a lot of DAMs out there. We really put a lot of time and effort into seeing everything that was out in the market, really understanding what our capabilities, what the functionality needed to be, and the strategy that we were trying to execute. I think that was very important. We knew exactly what we needed from the outset. And it was a case of, looking at all the different products on the market. And as you said, there's pros and cons to lots of them. There's lots of amazing products out there. But I think for us, what we were looking to do was kind of create a bit of a hybrid almost, right? We needed a platform that could enable our production capabilities, so it needed to do everything a DAM would do, obviously asset managing, tagging, all the things that are commonplace in DAM, and I'm sure this audience know all about DAMs. But I think what we were also trying to do is really bring together the media process with the content management process. So for us, landing on Adstream, was really kind of the perfect solution, because it enabled us to bring together our content production, content management, but then also distribution out to media, sort of giving us, and this is really the kind of USP of Content Symphony, is giving us this complete end-to-end ecosystem and workflow where we can track assets from project creation all the way through, master asset creation, adaptation, as we said, storage, management, all the way out through to distribution. So it really gives us that wraparound solution that we didn't really see anywhere else. So for us, it really was the only choice in order to meet our requirements of a truly integrated solution for Dentsu and our clients.
So was there any key attributes that you were looking for when choosing and selecting a DAM? Because DAMs, as we just discussed, DAMs are DAMs. There are fantastic DAMs out there that can handle SKUs, 15 million SKUs at a drop of a hat. What were the key things that you were looking for that made differences as to your decision making?
So I think we needed the commonplace functionality that a lot of DAMs have. Sort of as I was saying earlier, I think the media distribution part was key for us. I think we are offering production and media services at Dentsu. So we're not a brand that's looking to power a CMS or loyal to customers. We're very much sort of executing content to be delivered out on media channels. So for us, the Adstream platform, because it is a connected DAM, it really gives that sort of visibility at a global level. I mean, also the fact that it has open APIs was another really key part for us. Content Symphony is made up of multiple technologies and platforms, and it will grow and evolve all the time. So, being able to be very flexible in how we integrate with other platforms was also really key. For us, sort of multi-tenancy approach, how we organize our architecture, where we have a sort of global umbrella instance, if you like, of Adstream, but then we have separate business units within it for different clients, so we can have control, whether it's at a brand level, a client level, or a studio level. But again, from a Dentsu global perspective, we can see everything in one place, in one ecosystem, in one environment.
We talk about sort of, the visibility, control and productivity that potentially, the offering that we put together, which I thank you for taking us up on that. What parts of that is important for you and your clients, and how does that affect, when you're going to market or where you're pitching as an agency? Because I think, the agency Dentsu has kind of looked to sort of take on that creative role, more in earnest of the past couple of years, which is great to see. And I think the pitches that you guys are involved with is testament to that fact. But what is it that is critical that comes off the back of a DAM, or the information you talk about, a connected DAM, and that the ability to be able to get out to the endpoint, to multimedia? What is it you need to be able to go back to your clients or your brands to be able to justify that whole offering? So,
a big part really is the kind of reporting and analytics, basically, being able to see, as we said, the life cycle of assets from creation all the way through. Usage rights management was another key piece, and as clients are now distributing more content than ever on more channels than ever, that's becoming a lot harder to manage, and clients are seeing fees and penalties around expired usage rights and talent, etc. So for us, that's another key thing. But yeah, having kind of the real-time dashboards and viewability of what's happening in our ecosystem, whether that's within our own internal studios at a production level, whether it's a client level where we can show this is where that asset started, these are all the variations we've created. Potentially we can put in the cost information around that as well, seeing right to where it's being delivered to in real time. And a lot of our clients are moving towards a more centralized way of working now, after years of kind of localized markets, having different marketing activities happening. Being able to have all that information in one place with a global view of everything that's happening from a content perspective and a delivery perspective is really very powerful, and it helps to drive ROI. Clients can see what content is working well and why, and also you get a lot more leverage, right? You're not necessarily duplicating content in other markets. So a platform that gives you that visibility and control to be able to get that kind of data is really important to us.
I know that you guys did a recent survey with CMOs, and there was a couple of stats that I recall that were quite key. I thought I think it was 62% of all CMOs figured that the ability to be able to get out to from a connected DAM point of view, and that is an important thing for them to be able to control. And I think it was something like about 82% of all CMOs referred to actually having a platform that enables them to be able to have that connectivity. How does that sit with you guys now? I mean, it's a great survey and some good interesting stats, because I do think that we're of an age where technology is becoming actually sort of front of the stage and centre, and procurement coming across the top of it. There's a new learning curve that procurement need to learn. I was on a call recently with a procurement group, and they were saying, how do we start to justify that? You talked about ROI. So all of those things combined, from the CMO survey that you created internally in Dentsu versus actually the reality, and how do you execute that ROI back into that ideation? How do you do that through the Content Symphony platforms?
So, I mean, I think one of the other things that actually was picked up in that CMO survey, and Gartner have released papers on this as well, was that content is a real bottleneck for CMOs now. You can have all the great data and insights around your customer and who they are, but you still need to actually target them with relevant content, and with personalization and globalized production models, it involves a lot more content, a lot more versions and variations. Again, the platform enables us to give the information the clients need to understand what's working and why. They have access direct into dashboards, custom dashboards that we've built with you guys, that are very specific to the client's needs. So again, they can see in real time themselves where the content's gone, how well it's performed, and get the kind of intelligence that they couldn't get before from a global view.
You talked earlier a bit about having a connected DAM solution, and I think it's fair to say that we as a business are recognised for the delivery, the endpoint, getting out to media. How important is that to you as a business to help that data flow?
Yeah, extremely important. I think especially with new digital channels, there is a little bit of a to and fro between media agencies and creative agencies on who does the fulfillment. Obviously, TV is a lot more usually handled more by the creative or the production agencies because of the technical restrictions and guidelines around it, and you need to be very specialised. But when it comes to new channels like social media and other channels, quite often that's actually being executed by media agencies, and in Dentsu it's a real cross between the two. And what we can do with the Adstream platform is it doesn't really matter who's doing the execution, whether it's a media agency or the production house within Dentsu. We can ensure that it's all delivered through a single platform, and we can put those kind of controls in place, whether it's about usage rights and things like that may have been executed by media teams that aren't necessarily as familiar with some of the technical QCs and other things that goes around content. Being able to auto unpublish assets socially from social channels with Adstream is also really key, and again something that obviously social media is a relatively new way of working and distributing content, and people put content out there and then kind of forget about it, right? They forget that actually there's probably usage rights tied to that content that need to either need to be renewed or sort of unpublished.
We are a part of your ecosystem, and thank you for that. But there are other parts of the Content Symphony ecosystem as well. Can you talk a little bit about who else you have connected into that platform scenario?
Sure. I mean, there's a number of tools. As I said before, it's going to continually to grow and evolve as a new format, and new technology is always more rapid than ever these days. But we have Workfront is one of the core tools which we use for project management, task management, time tracking, etc. And we actually have an integration with Adstream there, so we can create a project in Workfront, and then all the project information gets passed through into Adstream, where a standardized folder structure and everything is created, and the metadata is pushed down. That's really the first sort of leg of the content lifecycle. So that's really great, and it's actually a two-way integration, because if we're taking a master asset that lives in Adstream and one of our local markets wants to do an adaptation, we do a work request, and that actually kicks off the project back in Workfront as well. So we can really track the sort of people side of things, the workflow around that, and then obviously Adstream is tracking the actual assets themselves. We also have Monotype Fonts, which is a enterprise cloud-based font management platform, and of course Creative Cloud, which we use heavily, as everyone does, for creating the content. But there's lots of other proprietary tools that we're building on the top. But Adstream really does sit at the core of our connected ecosystem. As we said, it does the DAM capabilities distribution, but what has also been great about the platform is it allowed us a lot of flexibility because we orchestrate a lot of our production workflows in the platform. We're building a new platform that sits on the top of our entire ecosystem where we standardize how we brief into our studios, and it has a really great user interface where you can browse all the studios that we have. And there's a number of integrations that come back and forth between Adstream. And again, I think, I'm sure not everything in the platform has an API, but pretty much everything that we've needed has. So again, that flexibility is great. We're doing a lot of work in the automation space as well, trying to use smarter ways of working, AI platforms, as well as automating a lot of the manual work. But again, everything always gets sort of, from an asset perspective, gets tied back to that DAM really at the core of the whole platform.
So picking up on just what you just said there about various things, sort of using your production network around the Dentsu business. How do you differentiate yourselves from the traditional sort of production houses that are out there now that have been sort of formulated over the past decade, and to where you are now? I know the answer, but I'd love the audience to know what the answer is. But
so what's been interesting is that actually over the past 3 years or more, we've been acquiring lots of creative agencies and businesses, and we've actually got a great amount of production talent and studios in the network. But until recently, they were kind of hidden in different markets and silos. And what we did with Content Symphony over the last year is really unearth all that talent that is around the network. And we have capabilities from everything from live shooting, print production, retouching, 3D, AR, VR, literally everything you can think of. And we've got 29 studios now onboarded onto the platform. But how we slightly different from others is that we have, we are much more kind of agile pockets of talent rather than your big kind of huge offshore farms, if you like, the kind of churning out content. We have very kind of relevant and specialized studios in different parts of the world. So we have in market we have nearshore, and we also have some bigger offshore hubs as well. In 3 locations for some of the the lower touch work, banner work and things like that. But yeah, what we do is we have studios that specialize in certain things, but what's great is we can connect them together and seamlessly pass work around the world because we have a consistent platform that connects them, a consistent way of working, consistent taxonomy. Again, that was very important in the DAM, that we can have a common taxonomy and structure, information architecture around all of our content globally. So yeah, it enables us to be very nimble, push work around the world to the best place, and that really is sort of what enables us to do the quality at scale piece.
You've got an ecosystem of platforms that are stitched together, of which you've got Adobe, you've got Workfront, you've got Adstream sitting in there from a DAM perspective. Clearly there are brands and clients out there that have already instigated their own brand DAMs, let's call them. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that? So are you forcing your solution onto the client, or how are you sort of stitching that part of it together?
Sure. No. So the kind of the strategy behind the platform was always around it just needs to be flexible. It needs to be modular. We understand that a lot of clients are now investing heavily in their own tech stack and tech infrastructure, and want to take ownership of a lot of the platforms, and we completely understand that. So our platform was designed to be integrated, right? So yes, we can offer the entire kind of end-to-end ecosystem production service, the full technology platform, and we've done that for clients like Generali globally, where we do creative media production across 22 markets. But then we have other clients that, as you said, have a DAM in place. We may be just doing production services, so our platform will orchestrate that whole process, and then via an integration, we then push the assets out into the client DAM. And what's interesting is, lots of clients have DAMs, and they're they're operated and managed in very different ways. Some of them are, run extremely well. Some are just a dumping ground that has no real kind of management or structure to them. So we kind of offer services of maybe helping them get the best out of what they have in a dam, or helping them to understand where there might be an advantage or a benefit from changing to our tech platform. But it's all about flexibility. We're certainly not looking to push anything on clients. We want to just make sure that we get the right solution for their challenges. And that's very much why we spend a lot of time with Content Symphony clients, understanding what the client's objectives are, what their strategy is, so we can build a solution that fits. It's not just a one-size-fits-all where we will just drop in a tech stack. It needs to actually add value to the client and be used by them.
That's quite refreshing to hear in this day and age, isn't it? One of the stats that we kind of got involved in, and I'd like to understand how you deal with this, is that of all content that's created for a brand, something around about anything between 28% and 42% of all content that's created is never used, never leaves the station. How do you deal with that? How does that, because that's something, obviously there's a cost that sits behind that from a client point of view. How do you look at that part of it, or do you look at that part of it? Or indeed, do you reverse that back out and say, well, look, we are so selective of how we produce our content from the ideation stage right the way through, that we're actually more efficient in doing that in the first instance. So there's two questions there. So looking at it from the ideation point of view versus actually using the data that comes off the back to recognise where the content could be saved or not. Yeah.
So I think it depends. There's kind of two answers to those two questions. It really depends. I think when we're working with clients across, as we said, sort of creative ideation, across production, across media, we very much have a modular production mindset, right? So we're building a campaign strategy or a big organizing idea that will work broken up into lots of modular pieces. The word modular content or atomic content is quite a big thing now. Obviously, it's used heavily in DCO, but that whole methodology can be used elsewhere. And actually, we did that with Generali across TV campaigns, across all of their campaigns. We built a selection of master assets. It could be interchanged with each other. So again, you're not, because it's so flexible. The chances of you wasting assets or assets not being used because it's not relevant in a particular market is definitely reduced. They take the bits that they need, and the bits that they don't need, we might have to create new content around. So that whole approach to how we sort of execute on creative and production is more efficient and has that end in mind where we have to. This content needs to go across multiple channels, multiple variations. What's the most efficient way of doing that? Where clients have other challenges is when those things are decoupled, right? So you've got your agency of record creating the master idea, and it's a great 30-second TV ad. How that's going to get distributed across banners or other channels, may not be in front of mind, right? So clients end up with lots of content that they have that they start building up, as you said, that they either can't be used or can't be really kind of pulled apart effectively, and that's when you start to see a lot more content just kind of sitting idle. I think the more you break the content down into smaller pieces, the more you can leverage it, whatever it's for.
So based on what we just said there, how do you determine what is being used and what is not being used? How do you do that?
So again, from the dashboards within the platform, that will enable us to see how many uploads have been executed, downloads, adaptations. It really gives us all the information we need to know about where an asset's gone, has it been delivered or not, how many times it's been accessed.
I mean, a couple of other buzzwords that have been knocking around the industry, AI, ML, etc. How do you put that overlay those technologies, all that sort of new way of thinking, and how do you? I mean, AI is really it's a computer doing the work for you. How do you get that to help you?
So There's, I'm a creative. I come with a creative background, and I'm very for, as a technologist as well, obviously very for AI assisting creativity, right? Not replacing people, but assisting in some of those tasks that are a lot more mundane. And really, I see it kind of in two areas, right? We have, and in the Adstream platform, we have AI tagging turned on. So every single asset that comes through the platform now is tagged, with logo detection. What visual tagging of what objects are in the scene, etc. So, that instantly gives our dashboards a lot more richness, right? We can really break down to, okay, well, let's see every asset that we've created that has a car in it, for example. So again, it gives us internally a greater picture, and it improves searchability. For clients, it also helps with usability as well, right? Reusing assets a lot quicker. Having a DAM, even a well-managed DAM, right, with good taxonomy and good naming conventions and everything else, it can still be quite difficult to find, an ad or piece of content that has a very specific thing in that you might be looking for, right? So these AI tags and AI capabilities really help to drive a lot more insight into your content. And then you've got the other side of AI, which is more kind of executing on those creative tasks that you takes a lot of time to do manually, right? So the idea being, and this is what we're exploring at the moment with Adstream, is we might have a photo shoot, 1,000 images. In fact, we've done this for one of our clients. It has 1,000 images in that shoot. We'll put them into a folder, like a hot folder in the DAM. It'll push out to one of the Adobe APIs. It will sort of crop, mask, do some basic color correction, etc., and push it back into the DAM again. And those are the kind of things that creatives would sit there, in the old days, spending hours doing it by hand. So we just free them up from that and enable them to be more creative. But again, having a cloud-based DAM means we can ingest these shoots from wherever they might be in the world with a set structure, a set taxonomy as the assets come in and get tagged, but then we can easily push them off to these AI services.
So how important is security to you?
Extremely important, very important for us, very important for our clients, and increasingly so for our clients, especially as obviously everyone moving to a cloud-based world more than ever now. So the security of the assets, of the content, and especially in our case, working in advertising, we're working with a lot of content for products that haven't been released yet, whether it's a new car, a new model of phone. So the damages that could be incurred from having content that's been sort of leaked unofficially or by mistake it can be very costly for us as an agency, but also for clients and the launch of their products. So making sure that we have a robust security layer to the entire Content Symphony platform, but particularly obviously where the asset lives, is very important to us. So we have Okta authentication enabled for obviously all of our internal teams, but we have external partners, third parties and clients all coming into the Adstream platform as well, but in a controlled way. And we have a great deal of flexibility in what kind of levels of access people have inside the organisation or outside.
Look, I think it's fair to say that Dentsu has undergone a little bit of a change over the past couple of years. Good change, and I think the restructuring of how you've delineated your business is actually is very good from a network agency point of view. So what do you think the future is for you and also for Content Symphony, and how it will get positioned within the Dentsu brands?
Sure. I mean, I think it's a really exciting time for Content Symphony and the whole of Dentsu. But I think what is great about Content Symphony is it actually becomes that common layer between all of our service lines. So we have the creative service line, the media service line, and the CXM service line. And Content Symphony becomes that integrated solution, bringing all of those things together and enabling all those things from a content perspective. So I think, Content Symphony launched last year. We started building it last year. It's really starting to gain momentum now with, as you said, some thought leadership pieces, some major global clients with Generali and Amex and a number of others. So it's an exciting time, and I think our capabilities as a network are starting to come together more and more. So we really can offer a truly integrated global solution with a common ecosystem.
Great. Look, thanks ever so much for talking to me about it. We're very pleased that you've chosen us as part of your ecosystem. Look, I hope you've enjoyed that. And look, if you want to know more about us or more about Dentsu, don't hesitate to get in contact with either James or myself. Thanks very much indeed.